Alright guys, it's Fudo Yusei again with another deck profile for the channel Legendary Duels. And we have the King of Games himself, the true King of Games. Not that other guy named Atem who cheated and, stole all of Yugi Muto's spotlight. The real King of Games, little Yugi himself. And we have a deck profile with him. Without Dark Magician, yes, without Dark Magician. So this is all the cards that he's used without the Pharaoh. That's
yes.
right.
It's the ceremonial deck that he used against the Pharaoh with some new additions with the Duelist, the new support from the Duelist pack that came out, which supported
the rival of the
Pharaoh, and they gave Little Yugi's cards some new support. So we added those in here too to give the deck more consistency and more of a boost. And it is official because it is a Duelist pack, so it's definitely official. But yeah, so we're just gonna go through it. We took some cards out, we added some cards in, and he'll explain the reasons as to why we chose certain things. So yeah, he'll go through it.
All right, so guys, these are the cards I chose for his deck, and the most consistent and the most support for his deck. So we're gonna start off with 3 of the new cards that came in, Rivals of the Pharaoh, which Yugi Muto is considered one of the Pharaoh's rivals because he dueled him. And that's Silent Magician, Silent Swordsman, and Silent Paladin. These are support cards that came for him, and they're really powerful. They're easy to summon. The Swordsman literally just requires you to tribute a warrior you control in order to special summon him from your hand. The Silent Magician does the same thing, and they have crazy effects. I'm gonna just elaborate just a little bit on their effects. So Silent Swordsman's ability, first to summon it, you have to tribute a warrior monster you control. So you can't normal summon it or set. It has to be special summoned from the hand by tributing a warrior type monster. And you can't special summon him in any other way. So that's the only way you can summon him. Afterwards, once per turn during the standby phase, so pretty much during every standby phase, your opponent's standby phase and your standby phase, this guy's gaining 500 attack. That's already busted enough. And if that's not strong enough, he says once per turn during either player's turn, you can literally negate the activation of a spell card. Like, that's broke. That's already strong enough. And if that wasn't broken enough, when he dies, pretty much, either by battle or by an opponent's card effect, you get to special summon a Silent Swordsman monster. Pretty much not himself, but any other Silent Swordsman, pretty much the level monsters, from your hand or deck, ignoring the summoning conditions.
You can just bring out the level
7. So you can bring out a level 7 right off the bat. That's insane. Silent Magician has a similar effect. He has the same summoning condition, just that you have, instead of a warrior, you have to tribute a spellcaster. You summon him. He gains 500 attack for every card in your hand. That's already busted. So this guy has the capabilities of going literally to 4,000 attack if you have 6 cards in your hand. And he too can negate the activation of a spell card. And if he dies, he too can special summon any Silent Magician LV monster pretty much from your hand or deck. So you can literally just summon level 8 right from the bat, ignoring the summoning conditions. So that's ridiculous. And the Silent Paladin is what you call like the engine of the deck. So when she's normal summoned, you can literally add a Silent Swordsman level 3 or a Silent Magician level 4 from your deck to your hand. And then during either player's turn, when a spell card is activated that targets exactly one monster you control, and no other cards, you can literally negate the activation of that card. And then her effect too says that when she's destroyed, pretty much by battle or card effects, you can literally target a low LV monster from the grave and add it to your hand. So she's like the replenisher of your deck. So that's insane. Like, those 3 cards, the addition of these 3 cards really boosted the deck really hard. Like, it sounds insane because like, oh really, 3 cards boosted up? Like, yes, it did. So we also have the usual, the Silent Swordsman level 8 and Silent Swordsman level 4. And then we have a Silent Swordsman level 7. Well, previously a Silent Magician level 8 and Silent Magician level 4. And a Silent Swordsman level 7, level 5, and level 3. So that's the standard of the deck. Those are kind of like what the monsters that you're most likely trying to go for. And we also have the green gadget, red gadget, and yellow gadget. On top of that, we have the Valkyrion, the Magna warrior, and his 3 little magnet warriors that you need, which is Alpha, Beta, and Gamma, the magnet warrior. Then we have these 2 very ugly artwork that probably Yu-Gi-Oh decided to do without any effort, which is Blockman and Lingard, and he used it the Ceremonial Duel. Pretty cool effects. Blockman forces you to attack it, and Lingard protects you from taking any battle damage. So it's kind of like he prevents you from taking it. Also, Blockman, when he's destroyed by battle, you bring out Lingard from the deck. So it's like, you know, it kind of helps you stall out, which is the base of Yugi Muto's deck, which is like stalling and a tempo style based deck where he's setting up for plays. He also has Witch of the Black Forest, Summon Skull, and Buster Blader. Those are like his 2 high level monsters. And lastly, he has Marshmallon, Blockman, and the god himself, Gandora, the Dragon of Destruction. The most stupidest card ever. But that card literally changes the game. And that's his monsters. Very straightforward. But this deck is really good. It's really fun. So let's get to the trap cards. We have 3 trap cards. We have the Stronghold, the Moving Fortress, which is usually used for the gadgets. Magnet Force. I like the TCG effect that they gave it. And Mirage Ruler, which is an anime card. It's a pretty good anime card too. Then we have Ambush Shield, Soul Rope, and Soul Shield. More stall, more protection, more setting up. And then last trap card we have Ground Erosion, which is I believe his 1 card that he can use to negate the effects of monsters and stuff. And on top of that, decrease the attack depending on how many of your standby phases has been on the field. So these are all trap cards that he has. These are all the trap cards we've used, that we've chosen. And now we're going to get into 2 more spell cards that are support for both the new Silent Magician and Silent Swordsman that were added into the deck. So we have the support card for Silent Magicians. Not just the Silent Magician, but also the Silent Magician level monsters. So this works for that. And we have the other spell card, which is Silent Sword Slash, which is support card for the Silent Swordsmen and the LV versions of the Silent Swordsmen. These cards really are strong. Level 7 of the level 7 Silent Swordsman literally says negate the effects of all spell cards on face up on the field. These cards say they can't be negated. So it's like, what the heck? Yeah. That's strong. In my opinion, that's strong. And on top of that, they allow you to search for a Silent Swordsman monster. So like, you can search for the LVs because it literally specifies Silent Swordsman monster. So they're also treated as a Silent Swordsman, or the Silent Magician version also does the same thing. So that's the 2 other additions that came in the Rivals of the Pharaoh. We also have Pot of Greed. We have Magnet Reverse, which is what you use to bring out Valkyrion from the graveyard. We have Ties of the Brethren. We haven't gotten the chance to get the card, but we're most likely using the anime effect anyways. Instead of 2,000, you pay 1,000. And we have Card of Sanctity, which he used in that duel. Monster Reborn. He never used it, he just put it in the gold sarcophagus and outplayed Atem, which is the very next card, Gold Sarcophagus. We have Turn Jump, which works perfectly with the Silent Swordsmen because their abilities require you to activate during like the standby phases, so that's good because it skips 3 turns during the battle phase. So, and then we have last but not least the Swords of Revealing Light. That's all the spell cards for Little Yugi or Yugi Muto, and we'll go into the side deck. So the side deck is really small and you can play around with it, but the deck itself is already good and strong enough. But the side deck revolves around has a Curse of Dragon, Watapon, the only trap card, which is Magician's Circle, which he used against Yugi, Mirage Spell, which is an anime card. Aria from Beyond, which works great with Ghost Sarcophagus. Spell text for those risk it all plays, and Marshmallon Glasses, which is literally from Marshmallon, to force your opponent to attack it, and you can stall out a little more to set up for plays. So that's the side deck, guys. This deck is really fun. Just to talk a little bit about the weaknesses and the strengths of the deck, because the combos vary. There's a lot of combos you can do, but I'm gonna just talk a little bit about the weaknesses and the strengths. So the strengths of the deck is that it can change the turn, literally. Like at one moment you're behind, and at another moment you could just bring out a beater onto the field very easily. It has that capability of doing that. I wouldn't say the deck is crazy consistent, but it's consistent enough to keep up with, especially with a lot of the newer decks from all the other series. It can stall enough to keep up with all those cards. Plus Gandora, it's the big hitter of the main hitter of that deck. Once he comes out, it's like usually game over. Usually, not all the time, but it's usually game over. But yeah, so the strengths of this deck is that it has the ability to bring out big hitters very early, especially very early, and put your opponent in a very putting your opponent behind, his back's against the wall. Put him in a very defensive state. Also, on top of that, this deck has one of its strengths is stalling. It has the ability to stall. With all the stall cards he has, like Swords of Revealing Light, or stalling out by having a big beater on the field. That's another way you can stall with this deck. Weakness wise it's the same reason why it's strong. Like his stall capability, he needs to stall. So if he's not able to stall, if the deck's not able to stall out to set up as he stalls, then the deck really crumbles. It suffers a lot. So any very fast paced, very aggressive deck really hurts this deck because it makes it hard for him to stall out. So that's one of the weaknesses, that's one of the strengths of the deck. It has the capability to stall, but the weakness is that if you're too aggressive, too fast early on, that it struggles to set up the plays and the combos that it needs. So guys, this is the Muto Yugi, the real King of Games deck.
And you forgot to mention a lot of high level monsters.
Yeah. Also, a lot of high level monsters in the deck.
Brick hands.
You get to it happens a lot with it. It happens often. The brick hands really, hurt this deck a lot. But, it usually hurts a lot of older decks, mostly like the DM decks, because they tend to have a lot of high level monsters. But that's the reason why those silent magicians and silent swordsmen make up for the deck. And the gadgets really help it because you're constantly shuffling your deck every single time you bring them out. But yeah, guys, those are one of the other main weaknesses, that it has a lot of high level monsters. But that's why I didn't add Curse of Dragon in it or anything, because it already has enough. Adding more to the bunch is just gonna make it worse. But other than that, the deck, when it goes off, it goes off, and it has the capability of stalling enough to be able to bring out those big level monsters. So this is the Muto Yugi deck, guys, the King of Games. I'm glad you like it. Pretty nice mat. And we'll come at you with another deck profile very soon.
Yep. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys for everything.
Riding Duel Acceleration.
Gotcha.